Sam Rayburn Reservoir in East Texas. This is the second of back-to-back single-day tournaments and the final qualifier in the 2019 season. In a week marred by heavy storms and high water, anglers reported catching upwards of 50 fish a day, though mostly cookie cutters in the 2-pound range.
A lot of fish, just a lot of keeper-sized fish.
We cut in ounces instead of pounds.
Real long day, caught a bunch of fish, just nothing real big.
At the end of the first event, it was Jacob Shannon and Keith Schamberger weighing 5 for 25-27, taking the win.
And hopefully there's some left. I think they're coming to that spot, so I think we should be able to catch another decent bag.
Now, it's a new day. There's another 100 grand up for grabs. And the big question is, how will the fish react to the pressure? Do you milk the same areas you've already hammered, or do you find new water? Welcome to the Texas Team Trail, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. It's cloudy, but calm at lunch. The winds have laid, giving teams more options.
Right now I'm actually planning out where we're going to go. Try a little different this morning, so see if we can't get a morning bite. Yesterday's morning bite wasn't too good for us, and then but we probably caught 60 fish yesterday, but all small ones. So we're looking at a little different water this morning and see if we can't find a bigger fish.
Most people are catching a lot of numbers, but it's finding them right fish that can really put you ahead of everybody else.
Well, this gives us a good opportunity to go fix our problems from yesterday. Stuff that we know we did wrong yesterday. It gives us a chance to go out and fix it, and hopefully come in with 5 big ones.
What's your game plan for today?
Well, yesterday we threw frogs around buckbrush and only got little ones, so we're going to go flip hay grass today.
We're going to start out today doing kind of what we did yesterday. We was right there in check line to get a check yesterday. We missed it by less than a pound. We had the bites to really done well yesterday. We just didn't get them in the boat, and we're just going to run the same pattern, just fishing the hay grass.
And what are the fish doing right now?
It's a little bit of everything, I think. I think they're mostly post-spawn, but we did catch some fish the practice day and even yesterday that are pre-spawn. But we're catching some fresh fish, and then we're catching the fish that's already spawned out. So it's a little bit of everything. I think some fish are being caught out deep, and something that's kind of in between.
Getting out on the water, we'll stick with Terry Peacock and Chris Taylor. They're up shallow, throwing frogs and buzz baits over flooded hay grass. There's been a shad spawn this week, and teams have been able to capitalize on that.
Here's the boat. It's a big one. It is a giant. That ain't a giant, but he's a good one. On the board.
With one in the well, Chris makes a few more casts and quickly hooks fish number 2.
Right now, I mean, as long as we keep getting bit, I mean, it's just covering waters. All this has been the last few days. You'll hit stretches where you can catch 3 or 4 pretty fast, and you may go 20 minutes and not 20, 30 minutes and not catch one, then hit another stretch and catch, 4 or 5 more. One of these times we're going to run into a stretch, then 4 or 5 is going to be 5 to 6 pounders. Just a keeper, but he's a keeper. He didn't want to stay in there.
Less than 30 minutes into their morning, and Peacock and Taylor have 3 for close to 8 pounds. Stay with us. There's a lot more tournament coverage ahead from Sam Rayburn Reservoir, right here on the #1 team trail in the nation, the Texas Team Trail, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.
We know if you found one crappie, you may have found 1,000. We know the joy of getting your boots back in the mud. We know the journey can be more rewarding than the destination. We know the great outdoors. We love the great outdoors. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Stop by today for huge savings on the gear you need and the brands you trust. Plus free 2-day shipping at BassPro.com and Cabela's.com.
You sons of fishes. Ain't enough fish on this lake for 2 clubs.
Really? Well, we see plenty of fish live with Panoptics.
Yep. Dang, we should get Panoptics. Maybe we'll just take yours.
What's going on here? You boys have license?
Yes, sir.
Nope.
There he is. Oh, I got it.
The Texas Team Trail is presented to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. By Lucas Oil, title sponsor of our Angler of the Year program. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Welcome back to Sam Rayburn Reservoir and stop number 4 in the 2019 season of the Texas Team Trail presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. We've got 235 teams on hand, all fishing for a total purse worth more than $110,000, including a Mercury-powered Nitro Z18 for the champions. Also in play is the Lucas Oil Team of the Year. Coming into this event, Ryan Warren and Jason Derrick are tied with Jeff Reynolds and Randall Bruce. It's shaping up to be a showdown as we head into the upcoming championship on Lake Belton. All right, getting back into tournament coverage. We'll pick things up with Paul and Jacob Shannon. After winning the first event with substitute partner Keith Schamberger, Jacob's dad has rejoined him, and they're hoping for a repeat performance. They're back in familiar territory, dragging plastics around brush piles. But conditions are much different today.
Set him. Is that brush or a fish?
No, that was just a little fish.
You got to make a lot of adjustments, especially if you plan on fishing one kind of small area like this is for an extended period of time. You know, we fished it 2.5 hours yesterday. Well, yeah, probably 2.5 hours yesterday, and you know, we plan on spending a lot of time here on and off today. So, you know, a lot of times changing up is just showing the fish. You know, it's just showing the fish something different, and sometimes that doesn't necessarily get you bit, but then I think switching back to what was working before, then you might get bit again. It's almost like giving the fish a break. You've thrown the same thing in there, then maybe something else comes along, a couple more baits, and then you throw that same, you know, whatever bait you've been catching them on, you throw it back in there and boom, you might get bit. So we're just trying to adjust and, you know, adjust if we're throwing in the brush or off to the side, or if I'm seeing them suspended, or kind of just where they're at. They're all over the place right now. Up, down, on the bottom, in the brush, out of the brush. Put him in here. Watch your leg. Woo. There we go.
I was picking it up and
way to adjust.
I almost was about to see my bait, and
he was like,
and then he ate it.
Well, it's around the dot 8 o'clock. We've got 2 small keepers, and we caught 1 other short fish. We've really just kind of been roaming around out here, seeing a lot of fish on the graph. They're just kind of moving around with the cloud cover. They're not really settled down in an area yet, so we're just gonna kind of stay in the area for now. Might hit a couple shallow spots real quick, just right around in here, and then come back out here, you know, in a couple hours and see if they set up a little better.
Moving on, we'll check in with Seth Kelm and Randy Spence.
See that?
They're up shallow, throwing topwaters and swim jigs.
I don't know. I saw something earlier, like a little movement. Keep your eye on that area. Seeing a bunch of them right where they should be. They're just not eating.
The start this morning's been kind of tough for us. Kind of started out deep in a creek channel yesterday. We caught a lot of fish in the area that we started, but we started shallow, but they were all small fish. So we decided to get in the creek channel and try it. Didn't get bit, so now we're gonna go junk fishing. We just had a little blow up on a swim jig, shallow, so we're gonna try to duplicate that with some bigger fish. Struggling a little bit this morning.
With cameras on the move, we caught up with Skeeter Fowler and Brian Robeson. They've caught a limit dragging over deep structure. It's been a slow bite, but they're hooked up here.
You know, it's been hit or miss for us today, which was a lot different for us yesterday. Yesterday we caught, I'd say we caught over 100 fish. Today it's been a little bit slower for us. It seems like we picked off 1 or 2 here and there, kind of move around a little bit, pick off another few. Anything where, you know, kind of a ledge or a hump or something like that drops off pretty good is where them fish are setting up for us right there on the edge.
Got him.
Good one.
Dude. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Keep him out of the motor, Skeeter.
It'll help.
When there's over $100,000 on the line, every ounce counts. While Skeeter calls, we'll head to break. Hey, if you're getting ready for your next event, don't forget to stop at Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's for the best selection of tackle, rain gear, and electronics. You can always order it online. They'll drop it right at your door. Coming up, we'll wrap our on-the-water coverage and then head to weigh-in. This is the Texas Team Trail presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
Lucas Oil Synthetic Blend 2-Cycle Outboard Engine Oil will not only produce a level of confidence with each trip to the lake, but will provide trust backed by rigorous testing on the track as well as on the water. Lucas Synthetic Blend 2-Cycle Oil has an extensive additive package that will provide clean burning, smooth running, and maximum performance stability to any outboard on the market today. Lucas Synthetic Blend 2-Cycle Oil will not void your manufacturer's warranty. Protect your investment with Lucas Marine Products. Lucas Oil, it works.
The Texas Team Trail presented to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's is also brought to you in part by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Garmin Electronics, fight the fish, not your fish finder. By Mercury Outboards, go boldly. And by Amphibia Sunglasses, performance floating eye gear. Well, we're getting down to the final hours on this last qualifying stop of the season. As expected, it's been a tough bite. The heavy fishing pressure combined with big storms and high water have certainly taken their toll. Typically, by this time of the year, fish would be piled up, getting ready to move out into their summer pattern. But with this much water and cloud cover, the bass are all spread out, making them hard to pattern. Chris and Lori Eves are making the best of it, fishing out of a Nitro Z21. They've got a limit, but it's a small one.
Fish are biting, just can't find the big ones, but not bad.
There's one.
You got one?
Little.
He's not gonna help either.
Not gonna help either. Been how our day's been compared to yesterday. Definitely smaller sizes today. A little small.
Lee Batson and John Fleming are on a similar pattern. They've got 5, and they're culling.
That'll cool. That's a step in the right direction. It's, I don't know, probably a 3/4, maybe a pound upgrade, you think? Maybe a pound? A little more than a pound, maybe, so. Yeah, if we catch, if we get a limit of those, and then get a 5, maybe a 6 pounder to go with it, we'd be in the hunt. There we go. Got him? Wow, little one. Yeah, that's supposed to be a 5 pounder.
Hey, in a perfect world, they'd all be 5 pounders. Moving on, this is Anthony Jones and Takori Johnson. They're pulling spinner baits over rocky points.
We've got about 5, 6 pounds in the bag. We caught a lot of fish today, just a lot of short fish. You know, we're gonna need 3 good fish. I mean, time is of the essence now, so we're just gonna cover some water. The fish have pretty much been on points. Anytime you hit a point, you catch a fish. whether it's the right fish or the wrong fish, you catch one. We got one on now. Pull it off.
That's been the thing, is finding the right point when the wind changed directions, and try to just stay with find a fish.
If you came into today expecting less weight under tougher conditions, you'd have been right. Even so, this is Rayburn, and it's got fish. This is James Larimore and Mark Martin.
We started off on one spot and throwing Carolina rigs, and we caught a ton of little ones. Managed to get our limit, and we ended up fishing some grass, some hay grass. Caught a couple on a buzz bait. And mainly been throwing a rig and they're throwing a Carolina rig this morning, and just trying to stay on a little bit of the outside stuff, nothing too deep. Fishing the edge of the hay grass, and this is a little hump we're on. Hoping for a big one now.
So same kind of setup for the rest of the day, pretty much?
Yeah, we'll probably be throwing a Carolina rig most of the day. Maybe throw a frog a little bit.
The bigger fish, they've been biting in the last couple of weeks, but we haven't been able to find them yesterday or today, and we just caught the one decent one a while ago. But we've been running, you know, anywhere from 18 to 20, 22 pounds each time we come out, and it's just got tough this week. I don't know if it's something to do with the lake coming up or what it is, but the fish have gotten smaller where they were.
That big one and that little one both came right here off the sides.
Moving on, we launched 235 boats this morning, and now we're getting down to the final hours of competition. For our last stop of the day, we'll check in with Ryan Laser and Scott Butterbob.
We got one big one first thing on the Carolina rig. Actually another one on the frog. And then the rest came off of Carolina rig.
By far my personal best. Just come up and smoked it. I actually didn't even realize how big it was until it jumped about 10 feet from the boat. But I actually don't know how big it is. I'm hoping bigger than probably what it is.
I would say
it's big.
Over 8, most definitely. Maybe bigger. Followed up by a bunch of cookie cutter 2.5 pounders.
Different game, for sure. You set a hook here. It could be, 10 pounder. Back home, you set a hook. You're hoping for a 4 pounder, 5 pounder. Like I said, 5 days ago, I was catching smallmouth. Totally different gear, totally different mindset when you're down here fishing this.
And it's no wonder that Rayburn is continually ranked as one of the best bass lakes in the country. As we wrap up our on-the-water coverage and the final regular stop of the season, we'd like to give a big shout-out to the folks at Ranger, Triton, Nitro, and Mercury. If you're in the market for a new boat, we encourage you to check out our Texas network of dealers. You can find all the links on our sponsor page. Check it out, texasteamtrail.com. Coming up, we'll head to weigh-in. There's $110,000 on the line, and we'll check in on the race for the Lucas Oil Team of the Year, right here on the Texas Team Trail, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.
I got my power pole down, stuck in the mud in the bottom of the lake, sitting so still in the wind and the waves, could even be a hurricane. I got my power pole down.
It takes brains and brawn out here, your wits and know-how, and the rugged performance of the Nitro ZV18 and the Nitro ZV21. These two groundbreaking deep Vs and the relentless anglers who run them are turning heads and catching fish on the tournament trail. See how the Nitro ZB Series is winning on northern waters. Nitro boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
The Texas Team Trail is presented to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Triton Boats, we take America fishing. And by Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate. Back at Humphrey Pavilion for weigh-in, it was easy to see that today was a much tougher day. After weighing nearly 160 limits on Friday, today, officials counted closer to 120.
Fight was a little tougher today, but caught a lot of fish. I think we got about 18 or so.
He caught several fish, threw a soft jerkbait a lot, a frog. He caught one 5 minutes before we came in today on a frog, about 2.25 pounds. So it was fun.
Teams are fishing for a total purse of just over $110,000. There's 70 grand in the regular purse, including a Nitro Z18 powered by a Mercury 150 for first. Angler Advantage has $15,500 in side pot, and there's an additional $23,500 up for grabs in sponsor contingency payouts. For all the details, head on over to TexasTeamTrail.com. Moving on to the scales. The Big Bass Award is worth $1,170, and Texas Boat World's Cliff Brown has the lead with this 8.56-pound Rayburn Giant.
Man, we had a pretty good day. We caught a lot of fish. Didn't get the right ones. We had one that was 8.56, I think. It was a nice one. Didn't get anything to go with it, though. But it was Rayburn. We had a great time fishing, and anytime you can be on the water is always fun. So it was good. We had a good time.
Moving right to the top of the leaderboard, James Hester and David Shuster locked up third, weighing 5 for $19.89, earning them $5,300.
Man, it was a great practice. I came down last week for 2 days and didn't catch near what I caught in practice, but we got lucky today and caught a big one, lost a real good one yesterday. We'd be about the same yesterday. It didn't matter what bait you threw. I threw a big fluke, shallow, and they ate it.
Like a Magnum Super Fluke? How were you rigging it?
Just Texas rig, green pumpkin.
In second, Ryan Laser and Scott Butterbaugh put 5 on the scales for $22.45, anchored by the biggest bass of the day.
Yeah, we started shallow for about an hour and then moved out to 15, 20 foot in some deep grass. That's where we caught our big one. And then we moved out deep, about 20, 25 foot of water, dragging jigs and Carolina rigs and a shaky head, and caught the rest of our fish.
And finishing out on top, it was the father-son team of Don and Bo Brinson, sacking up a limit for $22.67.
Amazing, especially with this guy right here. You know, to do it with your dad, and just can't ask for anything better. And the big fish, my biggest fish I ever caught today, it was a good time. It really was.
We were excited. We finished 5th at Travis, and we were just sticking to death, you know, about that. And so today is special to it, really is.
So these guys were Triton Gold and Mercury. The boat got upgraded from an 18-footer to a 19-footer. The motor got upgraded from a 150 to a 200. Their total winnings, including Angler Advantage, $39,720. Congratulations, guys.
Here's a look at the rest of the top 10 from Sam Rayburn Reservoir. Checking in on the race for Lucas Oil Team of the Year. With the season winding down, Jeff Reynolds and Randall Bruce have a 1-point advantage over Ryan Warren and Jason Derrick.
You know, I mean, that's always a goal when you start the season, win Team of the Year, along with winning tournaments. But, you know, still got one tournament left. The championship is double points, so still anybody's ball game.
Coming up on our next broadcast, we'll head to Lake Belton in Central Texas for the Texas Team Trail Championship. Check your local listings for showtimes. This has been a Carico TV production. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
At Mercury, there are no limits to the lengths we'll go to make sure you have no limits either. Unlimited adrenaline. Unlimited fun. Unlimited weekend. Except maybe having to go home eventually. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
TRX. The bold new family of bass boats from Triton. 7 awesome models from 18.5 to nearly 22 feet. TRX. Huge casting decks, massive storage compartments, extreme Triton performance. TRX. The boat for back-to-back classic champions, ready to rocket you to the winner's circle. TRX. With Triton, having it all has never been so easy.
Sleek new design with easy control file. The clearest images underwater with uncompromising range. Live mapping from the touchscreen. View notifications, video, even Google Maps on screen. And for the first time ever, real-time view of fish movements with live sight sonar. HDS Live, new from Lowrance.